An Introduction to the World of Curseborn. To those of you who stare up at the stars in wonder, to the ones who dream of heroes and imagine distant worlds and galaxies and things that could never be, it is for you that these words are written. For it is you, the courageous soul, who has chosen to embark with us on this daring adventure into the unknown. Yet before we enter the realm of Soria, there are a few things that would be prudent to note. For Soria is a land of danger and myth, of fairy tale and legend, and it is here where Aendrock, the never-ending war of gods, has been taking place since nigh the moment life and death first came to be. Far, far away from Earth, in a protected place, exists the Aether Ring. The Aether Ring is the oldest and most primeval solar system in all the cosmos, and it is home to the eldest creatures, deities, and gods in existence. Here live the first things to ever be, 7 elemental gods, each bound to a different world, where each deity represents an essential link in the nature of all things. In an attempt to frame perspective, take a moment and imagine Olympus, home to the Greek gods of human myth. If one were to view Olympus as the realm of gods who look over the earth, then one might say that the Aether Ring is the realm of gods who look over all. Of the 7 gods, there are life, death, earth, water, fire, air, and lightning, though it is an interesting story how lightning came to be, but perhaps a hymn for a different time. Our story takes place on one of their worlds, for the most part at least, and that world is called Eryx. It is here that the setting of this grand adventure begins, for it is here where Lady Vale lives, the goddess of life. However, although Lady Vale is an integral aspect of this story, she is not the heroine. Rather, our heroes are the beings who live on her world, the eternal protectors of the goddess, for they are the ones that allow us from all corners of existence the freedom to live in harmony. These people, her sworn guardians, have countless names and are sung of in many legends, but we shall speak of them henceforth as the Sorians. High in the skies of Eryx float 2 mystical and beautiful lands. Together they make Soria, home of the Sorians. Since near the beginning, the Sorians have been the last bastion protecting life from death, who will stop at nothing and destroy anything in his path to become one with her again. Though, if this were to happen, all things would come to an end. You see, the cycle of life and death is only possible when the 2 deities are separate from one another. For when the 2 become one, the cycle is no more, and all things return unto Aeon. Now, you are beginning to see the importance of the Sorians and why Lady Vale loves them so. For without them, everything you know and everyone you love would be gone. There are many different legends for who and what the Sorians are, and where they might have come from. Their lineage is ancient in every way, going almost all the way back to Aeon, or the eternal harmony, or the never-ending creation and destruction of all things. It is this phenomenon which death desires to manifest, and that which Lady Vale fears most. It is what the Sorians fight so adamantly to prevent. For Aeon is brought on by the coming of Ain, the name of the all-destroying deity that is born when life and death become one. You will slowly come to realize the difference between Aeon, a natural phenomenon, and Ain, the oldest creature to ever be. But understanding one of the most primeval things in existence takes time. By the end of this story, you will eventually come to see with eyes unclouded, and within that clarity can the truth of it all be found. You might be asking at this point, given what is truly on the line, how the Sorians could be powerful enough to prevent the coming of this ancient, destructive, and naturally occurring deity. Well, an interesting thing to know about the Sorians is that they are demigods, half-gods with the blood of dragons. They are also immortal to time herself, though they can be killed by a powerful enough adversary. On the subject of time, please consider that because the Sorians are immortal to it, the nature of time itself moves quite differently for them than it would for us. In respect to that, and to make the story a little clearer, Please note that a shade is the rough equivalent of a human hour, a rin is the passing of one season, and a cycle is comparable to a century. Keep in mind that Sorians age according to cycles, so when a Sorian lives to be 10 cycles, that would be the near equivalent of 1,000 human years, or 10 centuries. To summarize this most remarkable race of beings, the Sorians have extraordinary potential, willpower, and strength, along with 9 senses, can learn to fly at nearly any age, and are capable of controlling the energy of all things, or what they call aura. Aura is the foundation of all creation. Everything that exists is made up of aura, and learning to harness it is to become one with all things. It is, in essence, divine power. It is only because of their understanding of aura that the Sorian people can stand against death, for aura can manifest itself in near infinite ways, and some have even thought it akin to magic. Though it is ultimately different, if we were to define magic as the materialization of the imagination, then the Sorians have, at least for those of strong enough will, the potential to do and create almost anything. However, that is not to say that the Sorians are without weaknesses, for even powerful demigod creatures with the ability to control aura are not omnipotent. Their weaknesses, which you might have guessed, are quite similar to our own. It is often said that one's greatest strength may also be one's greatest weakness. This proverb also rings true for the Sorians, for they experience the same range of emotions, fears, vices, and temptations as we do. The very things that have destroyed our civilizations time and time again are the very things that threaten to destroy theirs. Pride, greed, hatred, and ignorance. These forces are not to be taken lightly, as they can corrupt even the purest of hearts, and it is these traits that feed and empower the god of death more than anything. For death's power grows by absorbing all negative energy. So it is that this story, this legend, is a battle of courage and fear, of humility and pride, of greed, desire, and hatred, but most important of all, of love. The love that it takes to overcome the darkness in oneself and become something even greater. Last, but most certainly not least, it should probably be mentioned that although 7 gods live in the Aether Ring, there were, in fact, 8 gods that were born at the beginning of it all. Time is the freest of the gods, and because of this, she does not inhabit a world within the Aether Ring. Truthfully, the conflict between the other 7 gods troubles her not, and she prefers to live according to her own whims, dancing through the infinite worlds of the ever-growing cosmos through past, present, and future. And although Time may not be interested in the war of the gods, or the protecting of things that she already knows will inevitably come to end, she will play her part in the tale to come, though, we suppose, only in due time. The Four Lords.